firstly, before we start putting out there, let's narrow it down to families.
Okay.
What kind of conversation do we have indoors? What kind of TV setting do we have indoors? The average person does not know what is going on. When it comes to government, government makes policy every day, but we are distracted by trends.
You're trying to tell us now sometimes our fakes are actually the real goal or the real thing people are even seeking out for.
I was born and raised there, that's why it shocked me when I got there.
Whether they will think my parents are poor or something, that's why I'm doing all this.
I was an homogate inside.
Wow.
Homogate inside, compound. So I was really shielded from the world. And then all of a sudden I was not exposed to the same world.
Like you've been shielded from.
So it affected the way I saw this. Like the first time my phone was stolen, I was like, how can people do this to other people? Like, what is going on? I did not know. It was the greatest shock of my life. I was like, so they've collected my phone like that.
Welcome to The Switch. Today's Young Leaders Spotlight is centered on creators and builders, young individuals shaping culture, businesses, and technology in real time. From music and design to fashion and transportation, technology. This conversation explores what it truly takes to create, innovate, and solve problems in today's Africa. The real question today is creativity enough? Is faith practical in business? Are young people building solutions or just chasing visibility? Let's talk. So, to do justice with me today in the room, I have Daniel Soso. Daniel is a multidisciplinary creative working across music production and graphics design, passionate about visual storytelling and sound. He blends emotion, rhythm, and bold aesthetics to create expressive and impactful creative work. Next to him is Emeka Hilda Chinyere. Hilda is a mechanical engineering undergraduate and the founder of hillsfashion.ng, an online fashion brand rooted in creativity and faith. Blending technical discipline with aesthetic vision, she curates fashion experiences centered on confidence, elegance, and purpose driven growth. And lastly, we have Travis Godwin. Travis is a software engineer and founder of Travel Africa, a transportation technology company addressing internal city travel challenges through digital infrastructures and smart systems. He is passionate about innovation, leadership, and building tech driven solutions that solve real African problems. Welcome, guys. Okay, so let's start with Mr. Daniel here. Hi, Daniel. So I'll start with you with this question. Do you think you're wired differently?
Yes.
Why is your answer so sharp?
I know.
You know that you're wired differently. How? Tell us how.
Well, I'll give you a scenario.
Yeah.
When I realized I was wired differently it was around the same time I realized I had herd mentality.
You had what?
Herd mentality.
Okay.
In the sense that I didn't necessarily have an opinion. Everybody's opinion, whoever popular opinion was my opinion. Like, which is better, blue or red? I look at it. If everybody says red, I'll tell myself red is better. But then with time, I started to realize that my opinion changed easily. So if everybody stops saying red is better and they start saying blue is better, I'll be like, oh, okay, blue was always better anyways. So I didn't necessarily have an opinion. So then I started to ask myself, what was my opinion on certain things? So throughout that process, I had to learn and unlearn that, okay, these things are acceptable, these things are not acceptable when it comes to my opinion on certain matters, especially popular matters, when my friends would just be like, oh, what do you think about this? And then I started asking myself, what do I also think about this? And I started giving my honest opinions. And I found out that it was different, very, very different from what everybody else had in mind. So from there, I realized, okay, I'm not like you people.
More like an alien.
Very, very different.
So how has that played out in most of your decision making around relationship and
It played out in a way that I don't tell many people before I make a decision. Because people tend to fight change. So if I want to make a decision, I hardly tell people, I just make it.
oh wow, that's that's a wow for me. All right, so can we take a turn with that with you? Do you think you're wired differently?
Yeah, I know though. Like I am wired different.
Wired differently among your siblings or amongst your friends, your peers? At what point did you start checking that parameter? How did you know you're wired differently? What did you see that made you say, "Oh,
Okay,
I think I'm a
so
different species"?
I think it's in general, my siblings, peers, friends, behavior. Sometimes my parents actually make remarks, and on a normal day, because when I think about this thing, I'll be like, I'm not the villain per se, or I'm not the victim, but let's come to think of it, which is true, like which is which and which is which as per, or when are they actually oversaying it, and what do I know I'm likely to do? So if you actually check it, and like me doing a normal survey and checking everything, I'm like, oh, just maybe I'm not even supposed to fit in. I'm most likely supposed to set aside. And that was where this particular scripture struck me. And since then, even in my social platforms, like for I think a year now or so, it has been part of my bio. That's Jeremiah 1 verse 5, where I'm not sure of the full version, but let me like kind of paraphrase, where God said, "From your mother's womb I have set you apart." That was my line. I'm like, oh, okay. My Bible. So before I started like in faith and everything changing, I stuck with it that, oh fine, maybe I'm different and it's normal. So I could just see things from a different perspective. And most of the time, it brings more positivity than negativity per se. So,
because I'll jump the gun a little bit, because you said you started with the scripture, you know, dictating about what the scripture says, or trying to let us know what the scripture says, and how you have held that particular statement to become yours. Now, let me ask a question in relating to that. Can faith and ambition coexist?
Yes, so faith and ambition, what's the point? I feel like that's how it's supposed to be in general, because I won't come to say maybe everyone is Christian, but I feel like everybody generally have what they believe in, right? And faith is not only applicable to Christianity in a way, but we talk more on it. But like faith in general, substance of thing, hope for, evidence of it not seen. In ambition, like for me now, that I'm particular about God, because how he has come through for me, no one else. There were times, these past 2 months, like just going to school, there were times that my parents couldn't give me answers. And I just knew that then, they were humans like me and not some superhero, of which has been the mindset right from when we were growing up. So, as it is for me, I think faith worked with ambition, because how? Because most times I come to doubt, like, how do we even have atheists? I mean, there's God. How would you come to think of it that of everything being created, you're trying to tell us there's no man in the sky? No, from anything that is, there have been. So, there's no point being an atheist for me. Because like, why did I say atheist? These are people that come together, or great scientists, and say, oh, this is and this has been. Okay, to like rephrase or like touch a bit from the previous podcast I watched on this show. Okay, when they were talking about what has been, like, that is existing. So a man would like come, propagate something, and then stops there, and another person can see it from another perspective and be like, oh, there's something about this, and further it. What does it mean? Along their time and span, they've been able to do something, yes, working in purpose and also fending for themselves at that particular time, while carrying on from generation to generation, back to faith and ambition.
So, yeah. I want to get that part. Yes, I need to get that part.
For me, it works, because there's literally, it will get to a time you'll be, what's the word? You can't just be all human. You just need that extra belief, and like, and for me, the extra belief advisable, or to like suggest to someone to be God.
So for ambition to be forward or keep running. That means faith has to exist with it.
Yes, it could be it stands as a propaganda.
Otherwise, it will look like you're just
Exactly.
dreaming.
There'll be a time where you can't do it alone. Like they know the type person. You usually ask people you think are above you, and most of the time they may not give you answers that like what will make you content. So I just talk to him, all right? So that's what I think.
Great, thank you so much. All right, let's come to you, Travis. Okay, doing a lot already behind scene, some magic around technology with transportations and all that. I one will wonder why a young man like you already taking that part. Why are you not on social media, doing social media stuffs and doing the games that young people will always do, on stuff, but you're thinking differently in a way. So do you also think that you're wired differently?
Yes, I am wired differently, like totally different.
So how do you know you're wired differently?
Okay, this is a bit kind of, so a lot of people don't know this about me.
Okay.
I am reserved, super reserved. I can be very social outside, but I am super reserved. I don't like to get around with people are my peers or my age group, because I feel like we are far from each other. What I'm thinking is not what you're thinking. I'm thinking on the next 20 years. How am I positioning myself for the next 20 years? You might probably be thinking school, uni. I need people who have been in the next 20 years to help me get to the next 20 years. So I most likely love to surround myself with elderly people right from my beginning. So it just made me know that you're not for everybody. Yeah. So I don't have, my close friends are not my age mates.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think I grew up like that too. I think I grew up like that. I never made friends with people who are my age mates.
Yeah. So that was when I knew I
Most
was
of my suppose people I relate with are usually older. I don't know why I find myself in the midst of older people, right? Right from my days in secondary school. So that's a good one. So it's also a good one that you were able to spot out that, man, I'm not like my peers. There's something, I don't want to use the word strange, but there's something spectacular about me. And then when you are aware, you begin to pay attention to whatever details that is inbuilt on the inside of you. So I know you said the so-called, okay, I don't use the word so-called, I know you discuss with a lot of older people, like you just mentioned. You find yourself a lot in the midst of older people. And I'm sure those who are close to you, you would have discussed some of those innovations and business ideas with them and all that. So my question is, did these people initially take you very seriously?
For the start, no.
I like the fact that they're adults. So
In fact, no. There were questions. How do you want to do it? It is impossible. This is Africa, this is Nigeria. It's not going to work. You need a lot of resources and thereby. And that was when the next questions started coming up. It is impossible. You need a lot of resources. I don't believe something is impossible, first of all. I don't believe something is impossible. It might not be the right time. You might not be the right person. I might not be the right person. But I don't think it is impossible.
okay, so apart from being impossible or possible, right? So that I get some clarity on the question I just asked you now, or the question I just asked. There's a difference between somebody saying, "Oh, this dream of yours is very impossible." Very impossible does not mean that you are unserious. I don't know if you understand.
Yeah.
Just as you are dreaming too big. When somebody tells you that something you are dreaming about, or you're coming to share, means that this your dream is too big. Because when it sounds impossible means it's big. Somebody cannot say something that is small or that is not big enough and say that thing is, for someone to use that statement, it's impossible means is either it's too big or it's bigger than you that is thinking about it. So they could come to you. So my question is, were you taken seriously at first? Like, when I mean seriously, didn't they see it as one child's play? Like, is this teenagers things or these young people, they've come. this their theoretical way of talking.
Yes.
Like like if you heard in, I don't know if you the former the first edition of this podcast that we had, someone was talking about getting to the field, right? It's not about paperwork and all that, So were you also sensed in that perspective, like all these things they are coming to talk, theoretical, information that has no practical basis, so it can't work. So did they look at it like, no, carry your English to one side?
Yes.
So they looked at you like saying, so how did that make you feel at first? How were you able to deal with such comments or such comments?
Yeah, I'll be sincere. For the first time, I heard that I wasn't serious about it, because there was nothing. It was just an idea. There was no research back with, and I wouldn't say I was depressed. But my whole esteem died. Like me coming to share that with you as somebody who I respect, and your feedback wasn't what I wanted to hear. Yeah, it got me down.
Did you learn anything from that?
Yeah, I did.
What lesson did you learn from that?
One major thing is people would not always take you serious at first. Yeah, I think that's one major thing I've learned. People would not always take you serious at first. You can't just go to people with just the soft copy without getting some hard things done.
That's my point. Do you think that people, they didn't take you seriously because you weren't that prepared?
Yes, because I wasn't that prepared. And two, on the social platform, let's say in church, I'm not that guy that looks too serious. I'm not that guy that looks too serious. I play around a lot. But deep behind that play, there's a serious work going at the back. Like there are sleepless nights, there are constant research, there are constant reading. But on that surface, I don't want you to see me as a overly serious person.
I'm coming to the why. Why? So I'm going to hold that to you. Why is it that you chose to play in that manner? I want to know why, but we'll keep it and then we'll come back to you. So let's go back to you, Daniel. My question is to you right now, because I know you do a lot around creativity and all that, music production, the graphics design, and I know you quite well, and how you mingle with your peers and all that. Is there a specific insecurity that you faced in your life? And how have you been able to manage that insecurity?
For me, the only insecurity I think I would have faced would be being unsure how you'll be perceived when you put yourself out there. Because I work in the creative space. You can do work behind the scenes, but then you can't just necessarily sit down behind a PC and then just do a bunch of work behind or go to boardroom meetings. You have to put yourself in front of strangers a lot of times, back to back. And the insecurity is not necessarily putting myself out there in front of said strangers. It's how will you be perceived when you put yourself in front of these strangers. And the solution I found to it was to carry it on your head. Because if you are carrying it on your head, whenever these strangers see you, they will see it on your head. It's there. So it's not like something you have to turn on and turn off. This thing has become part of who you are. Music producer, graphic designer. If they get to know you, they can't spend 20 minutes talking to you without you incorporating something about music or graphic design. Then they notice you talk about this thing a lot. Are you affiliated with music or graphic design in any way? Yeah, put yourself out there by just deciding to be yourself. So that was the insecurity I had. Nothing else.
No, I think most of us have that level of insecurity. How do I start? How do I get myself out there and stuff like that. I think a lot of us do have that. But I'm proud the fact that you are able to manage the situation by having to carry what you do on your head. Like it's like Oshuka. I put this on my head. I'm sorry. You just have to say it. It's like no apologies. That's unapologetically. I have it as a label on my forehead, and I think I like that. That's a good one for every one of us to learn. So, you also, apart from you being an undergraduate of engineering, I also know that you basically base into fashion and all that. How do you sell? So when you started, what was the insecurity that you had first during your starting point? And how were you able to overcome it?
Okay. In a way, that kind of resonate with what Daniel said.
Okay.
Because I come from a background that it's not so... And I kind of have friends that...
No, not so
like...
middle class?
Things,
okay.
Not even middle class like that. So somehow it's just I'm not.
We're just there. Okay, we get it.
There. So I just happen to be like what we said earlier about being wired differently. Like I'm a type of person that I don't force things in a way. These things just like kind of attract. So maybe people take me or they place me in. How will I say, like, they kind of rate me. Areas, like, when I get into their head or when we talk, from what they say, I tend to discover that they kind of place me where I don't even think I'm supposed to be. Do you get? So they kind of see me as a standard girl. They don't know that everything I know whatsoever is what I've decided to, like, learn by myself. And I cannot really give credit to whatsoever it is that kind of me. It's like a personal decision. So I really don't do too much. And then people are just like, oh, hi, I want to be friends, or something just click. So that now made me have like kind of be surrounded around people that are not from the average, like, or my kind of class. They're like big people, like really big people. Like it boils down to where I agree that yes, I'm different because I really don't do too much to attract these people. And all of a sudden they are just around. So when I wanted to like start the business and everything, I thought of it that if I post this thing now, cause like from the initial, as even though that like, yes, I didn't come from a background that is so good. Regardless, my parents didn't like for once allow me maybe go to work with somebody or learn a trade. They are always particular about my school. So me even trying to do something, that's why it's online. It's not some physical, I have to be doing and everything because they won't even buy the idea at all. Yeah. So it started as a normal idea. And for me to like start posting, I thought of it because like these people I have around me are like rich kids. So if I post, I'm not the one that is looking weird. How will I even start this thing? How will it not be somehow that, maybe they already have their life all figured out and like they already have maybe parents providing for them. Not like mine are not providing. I just like naturally. I'm an independent person. Even when they don't want me to, even at home, I keep pointing it out. Like, we really don't have this. My parents are like, they're not weak. They can still, I should stop seeing things from that perspective. My dad was like, maybe she's the first one. I saw them, they do that one. So, it started like, so when I started posting, before I started, I was like, it will be somehow. My age means, how would they think, she's just 16? Because I actually started thinking about it when I was 16, because now I'm 18. Yeah. So, if I post now, them, they're like doing other stuffs. Then me, I'm doing, it's somehow, it's different. So I was kind of feeling insecure that, should I hide them before posting? But if I hide, who will
buy the market?
What I'm doing and everything.
Buy.
So like I wasn't consistent with it. I started anyways, but I wasn't consistent. I would do for a while and then I would see again.
Go back to hide.
This thing is making sense. Before my mom was just on my side and everything. My dad wasn't in full support. Not like he's aware of everything, but my mom knows I'm currently doing something. But now as we like grew older, then I saw that low-key, these people are already thinking of what to do, like things to just start doing. And then I saw from me that I was actually like even will I say
Inspiring.
on top before
Okay.
starting earlier.
Inspiring
'Cause
them in a
now-
way.
Exactly.
Mm.
And they've been looking for what to like now they're currently looking for what to do. I can even see them trying to do similar things. I'm like, it means I haven't started earlier and I've been ahead and this is me boiling myself down with what would they say?
See.
How will I start? Does it mean me posting doesn't mean I'm suffering? Doesn't mean my parents are this, that. So that was the insecurity I was kind of battling with. But now I see that
So with that insecurity thing of whether they will think my parents are poor or something, that's why I'm doing all this, you posted anyway.
it happened that if that's even what they want to like
So at the end of the
even
day-
inspire them and everything. So this year the goal is also to be consistent with it.
So sometimes our
Inside
fears,
school.
you're trying to tell us now, sometimes our fears are actually the real goal or the real thing people are even seeking out for.
And sometimes we tend to limit ourselves by not actually going for that thing.
So stepping into the water is key. When you have the dream, put your leg in it.
Yes. I agree.
Like someone once said, if you fail, you fail. You learn the lessons and just get up and keep going.
And I used to be a very logical person, and most of the time I now forget that I actually have God. Like I cannot from today and know what tomorrow holds. I'm human because I used to be logical, as in I could be okay. Today is Saturday, and in my head I'm already in Tuesday, thinking about what Tuesday is. Like I overthink a lot, but then I was doing it the wrong way because then I also thought of it because it could like tomorrow can now come and then I would see that the way I've planned everything did not actually go that way. Then I knew that it's God, it's totally God, and I have to submit to His Lordship.
So you God. I'm coming back to you on that. Okay, so Travis, to you please. Does faith in any way influence how you make your business decisions? Does faith? A yes or a no?
Yes.
Does faith, I'll go back again, influence the way you make your business decisions?
Yes.
So how does that imply?
Okay, I will start for. I don't really have much experience, but we little of steps that I've made and mistakes that I've made. For every decision I've made logically on my own wisdom, I've always crashed me. Yeah, even while I'm on the job. But I realize when I go in prayer and just take time to dwell and just meditate on what I'm about to do, there is always this peace. There's always this peace that comes with it. And they come with clarity. So when I now go with conviction that I'm not two-way, I'm not double-minded on this thing. This is it, and it turns out well. I think faith is a big factor in my decision making.
Wow, that's great to know. So does that also applicable to you, Daniel?
Yes.
So how?
Well, faith in the sense that I usually check in with God before I do something.
You check what?
I check in with God before I do something. My design process this year is different from what it was last year. And years before. Because I noticed those years before, when you do a course, I want to implement what I learned in that course. So I was trusting what I did in that particular course. Then this year when I started praying about it, I saw an easier way to do it. And I was like, if I hadn't prayed, if I hadn't went by faith into this thing, this easier way, I would have still been doing it the same way I did it with the course. And now I work faster.
Wow.
I checked it with God.
Yeah.
So work gets done faster.
Wow. That's great to know. Checking it with God helps you to get work done faster. Wow. That's deep. Right. So God helps you to cut corners. I give you the cuts to make your work more effective and efficient. That makes sense. All right, back to you again, Daniel. So I would like to know, does where you come from, right, ever have any form of effect the way you think, or the way you rationalize, or the way you carry out your daily activities?
Yes.
So how? Just give us a scenario.
Well, first thing, I believe people are a summary of their experiences.
Of course.
Where I come from gravely affects the way I make my decisions and the way I do everything. Because growing up, I grew up in Hilda.
Okay.
Then I moved to Ijora.
Wow.
There's a big
Does it weigh big difference? Yes. The contrast is
VI, I moved to Ijora, and I have to give credit where credit is due. My parents are together.
okay.
But growing up, I was really, I didn't know what the real world was like in any way, shape, or form because my parents made sure I never knew what the real world was like. I was an almost get inside.
Wow.
Like, almost get inside, conquer. If my mother saw me in the compound, it was the end. I would see Jesus that day. Because she would send me to him. I can't go outside. And for good reason. Because this boy just moved to Ijora.
Wow.
We cannot put him outside there. We two are just moving to Ijora. We don't know what we're going to get meet. So in the sense that they will go out there first, test the waters before letting me or my older brother come outside. So I was really shielded from the world. And then all of a sudden I was not exposed to this same world.
Like you've been shielded from.
So it affected the way I saw this. Like the first time my phone was stolen, I was like, how can people do this to other people? Like what is going on? I did not know. It was the greatest shock of my life. I was like, so they've collected my phone like that. Before you gave it.
Yeah, I remember. I remember.
I was like, wow.
Because the way he came returned back to me, were like,
I was like,
they took my phone. I said, I'm not understanding. And you're standing the way you're standing.
I was in shock. I was like,
it was looking so simple to him and all that.
So it affected me in the sense that even with my peers, I couldn't relate with them properly. I was an Ajebo living in Ijora, and my mom made sure that this thing did not drop. Even when we went to Ijora, my mom was a single mother. That's why I respect single mothers. My mom was a single mother. She was a proprietress at the same time, managing 2 schools, managing 3 children, all by herself. And I was like, she tried. Really?
Yeah, we have to clap, yeah.
And then she was managing a 4th one, because she also had a 4th child. So she was managing 4 of us, 2 schools, and she had a bunch of staff under her. So these things affected the way I saw the world in the sense that I didn't know what the world was like. So at first, I was tossed and turned in every... They showed me Lagos. At first, because I didn't know what anything was like. But then it affects me now in the sense that I slightly feel behind because what my peers knew at 18, 19, 20, leaving secondary school, me, I did not know all those ones.
Wow.
I didn't know the world was like this. I didn't even know that at some point in time, I would have to get a job because my parents would stop feeding me. I was the Ajebo, like I was not taking care of my child. So this thing pushing me, it affects me in the way that now that I'm in the world, it's a bit confusing. Like the reality, waking up, it slaps like mad.
Slaps like
But
mad.
the glory of God, we're managing it well.
Talking about the glory of God, because it's obvious God has done quite a number of things in your life, right? I know part of the stories, right? So how do you lead or how do you create? Because you don't lead, you do more of creation. So how do you create with conviction without being rigid about it? Rigid in the sense that you create with conviction, like this is the Holy Spirit convincing me or telling me, or do you understand? But without being Spirit Coco, he has to be also try to play it, down, not down, but try to balance things. How do you do that?
All right. So in my field, not the graphic design aspect, because in all honesty, why I do graphic design is one reason I firmly believe passion is good, but passion is not everything. You can't just be following your passion, helter. I am in no way, shape, or form extremely passionate about graphic design in the sense that I don't feel like I have to revolutionize the graphic design world. God has sent me to graphic design. I'm here because I want to make money.
Period.
That's why I'm graphic design. If I am here because I need to make ends meet, if there's anything I'm passionate about, it is music. But graphic design, it is a means to an end. And I can see the journey ending because with time, once I'm setting up structures. Once those
structures are up, we are done and out of it.
And then in the other world, music production, I work with people, I'm close to people. I'm a music producer, I produce for artists. I work with people that are extremely in the world, and I'm a Christian. I'm talking of people that if these people are high, almost half the time they're in their studio sections. So these are the people I work with. These are the people that we have become friends because of
what you do. Yes, just exactly.
Our lifestyles don't match.
Exactly.
I set a clear boundary because this is who I am. This is who I've come to become in Christ. There are certain things we don't do together. If they are passing their blunt, they know it doesn't need to reach my son. Why? Because AJ, I don't smoke. God bless you. Peace be with you. And also in the sense that there has to be a way of, I learned how to say no without judging. Because imagine they are passing this thing and they're like, how fun? I'm like, no. Immediately they're like, no, how? Not in the sense of as how.
Yeah.
Like, why no?
Why no? Your no is softer.
I've come to understand that if you understand why people do what they do, how do I put this in an easy way? Understanding why people do what they do won't necessarily affect the way you feel about what they have
them.
done.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So when I tell these people no, they want to understand why no, and I'm letting them know that all right, these are my beliefs. In the same way you people have your beliefs on your sexuality, the same way you people have your beliefs on your relationship with women, the way you take your drugs, I have mine. And the fact that I'm not infringing on yours, I would appreciate it if you don't infringe on mine. So I set this very clear boundary that Alpha, there are certain things I don't do and I will not do. And another way I've learned to manage this thing is to be skilled. Because if you are not like them and you have nothing to offer, they will kick you out.
Oh, all right. Let's move on to you, Travis. Yeah, we know that you are the tech guy. That means somehow, but let's quickly ask this. Are young Africans building real solutions or are we just following trends?
The question is two ways. If we say Africa at large, I would say yes. Africa at large would say yes. But if we
Bring it to Nigerian
down
context.
to Nigeria, I think everybody might not agree with this, but I think we are clouded with the fintech world. What do I mean fintech? Fintech is like finance, which I think it's something that has been worked on. We don't need to include everybody into the digital world anymore. It is done. We need to start solving core major issues. Like core major issues.
What are those core major issues you're talking about here?
If we look into core major issues, I would say education is still one of our biggest issues. It's still not yet solved. Yeah, we have people working on it, but it's still not yet solved to the large amount of which we have fintech currently in Nigeria.
Education in the sense that what? I thought if you remember, I don't know if you were able to, get a bit engaged in the last conversation. We had the debate, or I would say some of us argued a little bit about what education is truly and truly. So now I feel like we're contrasting ourselves, or yes, that's the word.
Okay.
So because if you say, I agree with you totally, but I'm just taking it back based on what you people have been saying. So it's you versus the other first team. So what my point is, if you say education is one of the biggest or core issues that we have not attended to, which I think I agree with you. But at the same time, it's still your genders or your generation that says education is everywhere.
Yeah.
Wait, now I want to get it clear.
Okay.
Because the way you sounded that education is a core problem that we have. I don't know. I want you to just clear it so that we all understand where you're coming from, right? If you say education is our core issue, are you talking about primary educations like, the academic thing, going to school, primary school, secondary school, the university levels, or what kind of education are you talking about? Or just educating minds as generally, or, I don't know what you meant by education is our core issue.
So when I say education is our core issue, I'm talking about educating minds, not the primary.
Now,
we are in a world where information is vast.
Yeah.
Everybody can just go anywhere and get information. But having access to the right information now, it's cost. This cost it is very cost. The random trends you see these days are not what a 9-year-old person should consume.
I see.
Look at the way the trend is going.
I see.
That's why I say education is one of our biggest.
Thank you for explaining that. Thank you for explaining that. That makes sense. So at least we understand where you're coming from. So mind shift is what you're trying to talk about. And then sieving these informations that even we feel like we have, that is very vast, receiving it and having access to this education
Because
correctly is key.
I believe people can be taught how to think. Not everybody knows how to think.
So do you think when you say it's a core issue that we're talking about African now, let's narrow it down to Nigeria. So if you're talking about this being a core issue in Nigeria, well, how do you think Nigeria can solve the issue of education?
Okay, so there are several ways to work on education when it comes to Nigeria. I think firstly, before we start putting out there, let's narrow it down to families.
Okay.
What kind of conversation do we have indoors? What kind of CV setting do we have indoors? The average person does not know what is going on when it comes to government. Government makes policy every day, but we are distracted by trends. You can literally ask someone that, I say, when is the next date for election? People have learned about it. And we really want change. We cannot change a system without some certain level of education with the mind.
I like that this mind shift thing, and then you made mention about family. Sorry, I'm staying on you for a while. You made mention about family. How do you want to tell a family when I mean family in code? I'm trying to go down to the root of this, because if we do not understand the root, we'll be talking theoretically. This is still boils down to what I was saying earlier. We're not being practical solutions. We're not being practical. It's not enough to talk about these things. We can't see how this problem, this is one of my heartbeats, right? So if we're just talking, we're not going anywhere with what we're saying, right? So if you say, let's bring it down to the family system or the family units, how does an average Nigerian parent who do not even have education themselves, get their own words or children known about this? So that is because you went down to the family unit. I'm not bringing it down because I was expecting you to maybe go to another direction.
Okay.
Right. Maybe, let me not be the one telling you, because I'm going to take these questions to other people. So I don't want to say what I think in my spirit. But what I'm saying is that if you have brought it down to the family unit, so the regular family system, people who are in places like the rural areas, like ghettos and stuff like that, not even ghetto, there are people who are in the big areas who do not even know what's happening. All they know is about fashion. Let's wear the wigs, and some parents are like that. Yes, they have the money's there, but they're just merely business people who don't even understand, like you said, how policies on a daily basis shapes the businesses that we even do here currently in Nigeria, in Africa, or even the world at large. They don't even know these people who take this and how understand that every day these policies are being changed is affecting you in one way or the other. So you should take interest in this. Some of us don't even have an idea on this. So how do I want to impact my children if I have no idea about this? Like I said again, I'm bringing it back because you said family unit.
Okay.
So do you want to think differently? Do you want me to give you room to think differently?
I'll keep my statement.
Okay.
I think first thing first is, let's stop with the rumor of politics is a dirty game, government is a dirty game. The more you keep telling people this is a dirty game, the more they stay abstract from it.
Let's not go there, because politics is as old as the world has started. It is dirty. It is. Just leave it.
And it is family.
So you don't want to go there, so let's leave politics. Or should I allow you to say what you want to say? Maybe I should allow you.
And it is shaping families. So the reason why a lot of people don't get to watch the news, because they feel it will never favor them. And they don't know that little information matters a lot. For you to make change, you have to listen to these guys, how they think, and that is like one of the major ways to listen to how they think. Then plug into how they think and innovate around your space. For me, I think the average 7 to 13 has no business on social media.
Okay.
The average 7 to 13 have no business on social media.
Okay.
They should be reading book. They should be reading serious book. Not like school book, aside school book.
I understand. Just reading books that can shape their minds and
Yeah. So there's this thing with African parents. They feel their work is ending once they get into school, like normal primary school, education,
Secondary school,
they feel that's the end. And I don't think that's the end. Because you did not get somewhere. Your main priority should be this guy should be able to step up this place. Like during your first podcast, Kamsin mentioned how you are to push him. Yeah. Being friends with Kamsin and listening to him all my
time with him.
Yeah. I knew how you have to push this guy. Like how you have to make him do the uncomfortable things.
Yeah.
I think parents need to wake up to getting children to do that uncomfortable things.
True.
We should the Bible said spoil the child and spare the rod.
Spare the rod, yeah.
Yeah.
Not spoil. Continue. Let me know.
Spare the rod.
Yeah.
And I
Shall
think
spare the rod.
it's very, very important.
Mm.
It's very if we should not be very reactive to things, and we should learn to start being strategic to things. Yeah, we should learn to start being strategic
to things. So I would like to take Travis' question back to you in a way. I'm looking for something that I think I've not found yet.
Correct.
And I'm going to bring it back to you until I'm able to get that. Maybe we'll now move on to the next. So he went back to this family system or family unit, making sure that this education thing is being passed on properly. So at first I was thinking about the primary school, secondary school, or no more, academic stuff. And he said no, mind shift. Okay, I agree with you on that area. So how do you think the family system can play in or plug in to this level of education? If a father or a mother has no idea of what mind shift game is all about, how do they play in? And if you think the family system is not where it should be from, where do you think we should get that kind of education right now?
I think the family system is where it should be from, because I remember my childhood. Most people don't remember when they were children. I remember my own. And growing up, before schools or anything, it was my parents. Children do this thing called mirroring. That's how I learned how to walk. That's how we all learned how to walk. We mirrored people. So it starts from them, first of all. And you should understand that everybody that comes into this education, they are coming with a mindset. They've already been educated before you are trying to educate them. So whatever they are doing, they are making informed decisions based off what their parents have given to them, consciously or subconsciously. It's the same thing of the parable of the person that caught fish to put in a pan, and then they asked her, they were like, my mom did it. They asked her mom. My grandma did it. They asked her grandma. We only had small pans. This is why. So how people see things, it's greatly family involved. And another thing about education is that how education would affect these things is that education is everywhere, I agree. But now our parents are sending us to specific places to get education. They aren't necessarily saying it that education is everywhere, because during their time, this is how it was. And I understand that the reason they are doing these things is to secure us a spot. But AI has changed so many things that these particular places that are sending us to might not necessarily be the answer. So I think a shift needs to happen. And I genuinely think the shift is happening because, how do I put it? There was a time me and my mom were having a conversation about our school, and I was like, the way I'm seeing things, it's time for you to opt out of this school business, because the school is in the ghetto. They don't value education. They value handwork. Go and become a tailor. Go and become a hairdresser. Go and learn how to fix cars. My brother was learning how to become a mechanic. I was learning how to become a tailor before my father said he doesn't want that. He wants us to study and become better things. So you get, in this place, in this surrounding, in these families, even if these people had free schooling, they will still tell you to go and become a tailor, because this is what in the ghetto, this is what makes money in the ghetto, not school. That's what I'm saying. It still boils down to family. Thank God for the way my family was, I'd have been a tailor now. I wouldn't. It's exactly what I'm saying. What he's saying, it boils down heavily to family, because in the end, especially as children growing up, you're not going to go against your parents. Even if you know that there is a path set before you and this is the way, if your parents say no, you don't really know otherwise than what to say. So it really boils down to family, and it boils down to education, the type of education that your family gives you.
So do you also agree that the family unit has a lot of work to play when it comes to mind shift education?
Yeah, I agree. Because from the initial part, they play a vital role in how we think, like what you said earlier, being the vehicle that like kind of convey us. So even before they give us access as per, oh, you can go to uni, you can stay away from us for a while and then learn things in general. They kind of grant that access, right? So before we go there or like see how things are outside, like in the outside world, what do I mean? Because I told you that they don't allow me maybe go out and stuff like that. So what does that mean? Aside school, staying in my hostel is like the only reasonable distance, like I think so far. Because like my parents don't allow us to go for holidays like in people's place and everything. There's always summer because, you know, we just stay home. So school, like uni, and that also made me choose a place that is kind of close to home because I'm not used to living. So school is just like a way to kind of leave that space of being used to them and all. So it is me going out, see how things are in other people's perspective, meeting people that in what I understand from home. Like, let's say I start here, I can just see somebody that understands everything from like an opposite view. So it's me, because like, how will I put it? I just know family do play vital.
I agree with you. Family playing vital role, and I will still stay against. Keep saying that for me, they play vital role because of where you're coming from. But if you understand, about 80% or 70% of the young people we have on the street who are doing so much for themselves. What I mean for themselves, for me, I saw that family were more of a vehicle. Only very few.
You also have to take conscious decisions to prompt you to that place.
For now, my concern is for a family. Let's leave for those who are educated, who have that information. So for it, saying for a family, because I know there are people among us who actually do not come from such background. Right. From what Travis said, it was Travis who said it. I never mentioned about family, but I'm taking it from the tone where he started it from. Right. So we started from African and back to Nigerian, and then he now said family, so unit. So I'm not saying, let's even not talk about the children who are still growing. We're talking about your generation now. Let's even look at how things, whatever. So he mentioned that most people are just chasing trend. And we're asking, how can this problem be solved? Instead education, right? So education in the sense that we now broke it down to where the family. So my question is that for a family or a parent who doesn't even have this, not school, but who does not have this education, not formal education now, let's leave it for my education, but this mindset shift thing that he started in, right? Who does not even have that? Some of them just sit down and watch home videos and watch Netflix.
Lights, right?
Yes. So how else do you find the solution?
Okay, this brings me to a chapter where I call gratitude.
Okay.
Yeah, so everybody said a bit of their background and I never said anything. So,
Okay.
Interestingly to say, I grew up on my own. Like I discovered life on my own, like right from the early days. I knew I'd always loved technology, but I didn't have the source to, but I just had to find my way there. And my tech journey really started in 2022. Yeah, that was when I got my first laptop. Yeah, in August. That was when I got it was a gift though. So I got into tech school. It was just stage by stage. And so now moving into that part, every single step that I've taken today has been led by a certain conversation with people. Like I said from the beginning, I was never a fan of my age mates.
Conversation with people. Continue, I'm
I was
listening.
never a fan of my age mates. I've seen people who have done this thing, who had terrible bad experience, much bad, and they've gone out to be that they lead one of the 5-10 big companies in the world currently. I've seen them share their story and they will make mentions to one thing. Aside from the family pushing them, they had an extended family which became friends, which are friends. So we can't take, when we mean family, we can't take friends out of that circle if you are talking about education. We can never take friends out of that circle. The kind of conversations, the kind of things you listen to at that point really, really shapes you. I don't behave a certain way, especially on social media, because of the people I have surrounded myself with. So I believe because you can't find these people doing this thing, I don't think it is proper for me to do it. That's the reason why we have mentorship. It's not me trying to take down it is not my lifestyle. Okay. It's not me trying to belittle myself.
I think we're moving from the shift, but it looks like you're not agreeing to what he's
Yes,
saying.
and I want to kind of say something.
Please, she's
Okay.
not agreeing.
We're
Why?
kind of moved because the question was in a family where, let's say we have parents that aren't exposed to this mindset.
For me, I think you all have what? Okay.
Then your question was like, how do we or make them find light, supposedly?
No, you can't make your parents find light. You can't make your parents find light. You can't.
I mean, in a way, because they know. Okay, what if like?
No. I think we're mixing up this entire thing. I think we're not getting this question very clear. So the question says, maybe I should read it again. Are young Africans building real solutions, or are they just chasing trends? Trends. Are they building real solutions? If you remember in the first episode of this entire conversation, the first one that we started and all that, we're talking about, skills that are very important and what we're supposed to be doing at this point in time, the advice we're giving and all that. So the question now for today, for your own time, it now says, are young Africans building real solutions, or are we just chasing trends? So chasing trends could be that everybody's just doing fashion. Everybody's just, okay, what's happening is jewelry that they're selling. Oh, let's go and sell jewelries. Everybody's selling jewelry, do you understand what I'm trying to say now? So are we really chasing or trying to develop, like I said, building real solutions to real problems that can bring about, or are we just chasing trend? A is doing it, because A is making money, let's become and fine. So that's my question, which I'm going to come back again. I'll come back so that I can get it but he now took me somewhere else.
Yes.
he took me somewhere else, he reinvented the wheel. I won't say that in a way, but that caught my attention, I swear.
Yeah,
that caught my attention because he left African and then came down to Nigerian and then he went back to family. And you've been saying a whole lot. But what I was simply looking at, I don't know if you agree with me, but that's what I was looking for. Like, when you talk about policy changes and our policies affect the things we do every day that most young people don't even know about this. And I now asked you, how would they know? Do you understand? How can minds be educated? You now mentioned about family trying to get these educations. And I asked again, what if the same family, parents in question, does not even have this kind of education? They don't have this kind of exposure. What if your parents is that type too that watch Netflix and don't even know what, that kind of a thing? I'm just saying because there are settings like that. There are families come as a go. We'll chop today, we'll chop. Let's just be going. What is there light? Oh, up Nepal, down Nepal. That's what the life is. Whatever. We hustle, we come back, we take the money. There is no much whatever. And you said family. And I asked again, I was looking at to see how that family, as I asked the question, as this was it, because I know part of your struggles. I knew part of it. And I said, I don't want to go to her because I know her mother is somehow pushing her, but I knew this person's struggle. I knew your own struggle in a way. And that's why I brought the two questions to you people, in a way to say, was it your parents that brought you this far? Because was it your parents that gave you this mind shift? Yes, they could have been the vehicle that brought you here. Vehicle in the sense that things that happened in the family gave you the grip or the will to like, guy, I need to work on my life. Maybe based on the circumstances or the things you're saying. But were they the one that actually sat down and tutored you into this, which is a no. For what I know, is a no. Which is a no. Which is wait now. Like I said, I want practicals. I don't want theoretical conversations. Things that are real. That look at it. And you mentioned now when you are going back again, you're taking us out again to our questions and now bringing issue with friends and you being elderly. That's community. I was waiting for that. Community conversations, yes. So which I think if you're talking about policies and you building real solutions to African problems, or maybe we should just boil it down to Nigerian problems. It's like I think it's high time to start having real conversations among yourselves.
You can't build.
But even if in what's it called? But even in a family where supposing like they don't have or like everybody's unbothered about what's going on, I feel like in a way there'll just be this one person that will just want to know. Like that.
The
would be
question, you
inclusive.
still said the one person wants to know does not mean he knows.
Yeah.
So what we are saying that we need someone who has the lights that will light up the entire place. So it does not have to be in the immediate family system. It could be in the community, your neighbor, your villager, your brothers, your cousins, your church member. That's another family institute that though not your immediate family, right? But that's a community that God has exposed you to. And someone like you, for example, you said that wants to know. You are out there and the church is teaching something like this. Like, God bless the Covenant Nation with community groups and all that. And you find yourself in any of this community group. You are meeting people from diaspora, people from different areas, having conversation, then you are listening. You are becoming informed. Someone like you takes that light to your family who that does not have that light. So I understand that part. But where did you get that light from? That light was gotten from the community where you found yourself. But like I said, your parents could have been the vehicle. Like, okay, they took you to church. Or they allowed you to go to church. Okay, you have some other foundations. Foundations are part of the things that would have happened in the family that is now making you hunger. Like, oh, I do not like where I am. I want to change. Do you understand?
Yes.
Which why we also ask the question, why do you think you're wired different there? That was where I started from and stuff like that. So but that's where I was going to. And I think when you talked about technology and policy changes and stuff and policies that we're trying to enter, so don't go into that conversation. Our conversation, I think young people should start having. Real conversation that young people should start having.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it's in this community when you gather yourself and start having real conversations. Like being trusted in such conversation. That's why you start. We're always saying where there's a will, there's always a way.
Yeah.
So when you hunger for something, you'll be fed.
They will begin to solve those
Right? If you're hungry, you will see someone that will feed you somehow.
Definitely.
Because you are hungry for something. So, but I think when you talk about that, maybe that should be another episode that we want to talk about. We'll talk strictly on leadership and politics. Maybe we'll go into that conversation, but let's leave that conversation so that we don't go deeply. So I go back again to that question again. Are Nigerians or Nigerian youths really building real solutions, or are they just chasing trends?
All right. From what I know,
Quick and smart.
all right, no.
Which of you know?
They aren't building solutions as much as they are chasing trends. They are chasing trends. They are chasing trends. They are chasing trends.
Trends. Trends. I like
They are chasing
majority.
it.
They're just chasing
Oh my God. So, do you think the same?
Yeah, I do. The majority are though. We only
Chasing
have
trend.
few that are particular.
What do you
about
think?
building.
Yeah, I really strongly believe we are chasing trends. Say that just then.
And they were chasing it in seasons.
Of course, trends is in season.
Yeah.
That's why it's called trend. When that season ends, everything dies.
And then
No,
we
but
look
and a
forward
new
to
one,
another one.
a new one
More
will
like
come
a
on.
dopamine push.
Now, let me go a little bit into your politics thing that you want to talk about. So, what problem in Nigeria frustrates you enough to solve? So, you mentioned education. Let me stay with you on that. So,
Okay.
how do you think? So, let's stop talking about problems and talk about how
We can
to solve the
Solutions.
problems. Yes.
Okay, so let me hit on what problem frustrates me the most first before I go into education.
Of course.
I think the problem that frustrates me the most in solving is data problem, data inclusion. What do I mean by data problem? In Google, they'll tell you we have 220 million, which people still argue today, 220 million Nigerians. But let's ask question, are they really 220 million Nigerians? How many children are being born every single day in Nigeria? How many people are staying in this certain community? How many people do this thing? How many people do this thing? If we could understand how our data work, we would get how to solve a lot of problems. Data is very vital. It is the infrastructure to every problem we need to solve. If we don't understand data, we can't get problems solved. So in getting education solved, we need to really literally get data. I need to really literally get data of these people we are trying to work with.
Okay. Laying our hands on data,
Yeah.
information data.
Yeah.
Statistics, how the population
So
works.
that's your problem. So how do we solve it?
how do we solve it?
I'm just saying, have you ever thought of how we could solve such problem?
I have. And I've started making some plans with some people, obviously, on working on that. I think one way to...
Are you ready? Are you comfortable to talk about it right now?
I think let's leave it for the
Next conversation.
conversation.
But you are worried and then you are thinking solution at the same time.
Okay, so how about
What frustrates you?
I feel
No, don't say his own. What frustrates you?
Are
Data
you
too.
sure? No, not data.
No, don't go that way. That's the same question I'm asking you.
What frustrates me?
What frustrates you the most, or what frustrates you enough about Nigerian
Okay, what frustrates
that you think
me
you
is when
want
I
to solve?
look at people that have made it over like the world. I can't think of anybody from my supposed origin.
How would you say so? They have Dangote there.
I know what I'm talking about. I'm talking worldwide. I'm not.
Dangote is what?
Dangote is why. I'm not getting you.
I'm not really feeling. But like we're not.
We have Dangote. We
We're
have.
not so.
Yeah, I think
We have Dangote. We have more. Okay, we have somebody from the audience.
In a way, this is woven with population. We're really
Oh, like for how many we are?
Okay, like
Percentage
how
rates
many
or
people are there?
Okay,
I don't
okay.
have lots of people showing up compared.
I understand. You are saying that this is reoccurring. We are still having reoccurring
names over the time.
Like,
over the time. Yeah.
There's nobody to. I don't know. No new person. More like these people have been there. Like who would just.
Well, we're not springing. I understand what you're saying. I understand.
So that's why in a way I was like, the population is talking about, because there's also this thing about like SDG rule. I don't know if you've heard something, sustainable development goals, that in years they're trying to like meet up plans. But population is a factor. And
it's the resources on its own
and
again.
in a way they said because Africans too, like we're really populated, and said with the way the population is really growing, we could finish Earth resources. But then it sounded really funny, but it's something that we need to like get track of. See, Lagos itself, like everybody wants to come here and everything. Who knows if
my question again, because I need to get it right. What problem in Nigerian frustrates you enough? You just said it now.
The fact that
enough to say, we can solve this problem now. If it frustrates you enough, it should be already be viewing or thinking about what could be the solution to this problem. I don't know if you understand. Even if you can't present it, but it should be running. That's what we're talking about. Critical thinking. That's one of the skills that we should. Problem solving skills is what we should be having. Not just so. I guess, or no, I believe that while I feel that we're still very stuck the way we are. You're talking about populations and all that. We just talk and we don't do.
Actually,
I think population is our biggest power.
For me, it's our biggest power.
I think that's one of our biggest power.
So we talk a lot and we don't do. So if you're paying, and that's the mind shift we're trying to actually do. I believe we're trying to ensure that people begin to learn the skills intentionally instead of having that. It's a problem. Nigerian problem.
it's not.
How do we solve it? It's our problems. How do we solve it? I like the fact that the first episode made me, when we asked them and they said, what's the most important skill you think young entrepreneurs should be chasing at this time? And somebody said it clearly. Do you understand? Critical thinking and problem solving skills.
Yeah.
Because that's where the whole thing is going to in the next 5, 10. And I think I agree. Because there's a lot of issues in the world, and particularly in Africa, and we're really not finding any solutions to them.
So I'm like, wow.
We just talk about them. So, like I said again now to you, if you say that, maybe I've never thought about, do you understand, the solution aspect of it? So I guess this is one of the things this conversation is challenging us to begin to find ways to.
Like actually before now, it's just the part that I'm focused on as regards population, right? Like before I started talking about SDG and everything, like it's like we're plenty, like we're not showing up there as per the because people that are actually coming up like on a global scale, too much people. Like we need to have like number of people and like they are from Africa and then these are the things they are doing. Aside music industry and ministry. I really don't see You see those areas.
The
So
tech
these are
area and
just-
all the different. I think tech area
it's
is
only
even worse for
music
me.
and ministry, and these great men of God, they're actually the ones that I can see on a global scale. Because, like, for example, when Nathaniel Bassey was called at like America and then Sinner to come and perform, that's how big they are. So if you can actually work like that, these
In
are
other
the
industries.
exactly other industries that will say things about this our engineering aspect or tech. The mindset is, there's nothing for us here. In fact, we're wasting our time. It's just to like do it and kind of go abroad. Like if you're not going abroad, there's literally nothing for you. You end up from pressing calculator to pressing POS. The mentality is crazy. Like if you're a type of person that follows the crowd, that really don't know what you want from day one.
What do you think? For you to talk about engineering or whatever, do you think the education system too is affecting the way
It
things?
is, but in a way, they do not like. It's there that it looks like, you know.
Do you agree with
Well, I
that?
feel like excellence defies racism. So
Yeah.
that's how good you can be. I mean, if you really want something, you can go for it. That's how good you can be. And they'll know that, yeah. And over there are people that are really smart and they can actually, what you're just doing is just trading your brain. They can like cater for you. Then you work there for them. So basically, excellence
Principle
do
around that.
defies racism.
I also believe that Nigerians
depends
are
on
really
how-
smart.
Oh, Buku.
We are really smart
Buku.
people.
Do not
Nigerians.
just rate us in that part. Everything
No, we
is
do
just-
not have to be in that part.
No.
That's
working.
I think the
so.
issue
That
is
we're not having that real conversation now.
I think the
Do you
issue is
understand?
that
We are still thinking all
we are
that.
there. We are there. Probably not just visible enough.
Hold on, Daniel. What's your point of view?
I agree with perspective. I agree that our perspectives differ.
Yeah,
The biggest problem to him is data. The biggest problem to us is that Nigerians in
population is.
that Nigerians in
We have the
global
population, but we don't have
this
people on the
thing, they're
global
not-
scale. Yeah.
My own problems. It's almost as if they have big problems. My own problem is small. My problem. What bothers me in Nigeria is food and transportation. But what bothers me the most are Nigerians. The thing that bothers me the most about Nigeria is Nigerians, from the angry bus driver to the send attitude to the very, very, very angry Twitter people. Everything put together. I feel like Nigeria would be better if Nigerians considered Nigeria more. You remember the Japa epidemic? Everybody just wanted to leave. And I don't think it has ended. I think it's still going on. I just think it doesn't have as much buzz as it did before.
Yes, no more access as
If
much.
you
I
go
think-
there, they automatically
Help
billionaires.
me. I think
I'm fighting you too because you just amplified something now. So that thing just said, now hold it. I'm coming back to you.
Hi.
my problem is Nigerians, because Nigerians don't really care about the next Nigerian. They just care about themselves.
Absolutely true.
Yeah.
And I know this because I'm not Nigerian. I'm from Benin Republic, so I've been to other places and I've seen that it's different there.
You're born and raised here.
I was born and raised here. That's why it shocked me when I got there.
Okay, so.
So I went there and it was shocking. It was so bad that when we crossed the border and we entered Lagos, I was like, oh, we're in Lagos now. I can sense it. I just felt it that, okay, welcome to Lagos. I didn't even need to see the banner. I just knew we're in Lagos
I
already.
think Lagos does not welcome you. It tells you this is Lagos.
Yeah, this is Lagos.
Well, this is Lagos.
This is Lagos. So one thing I think would solve it is if Nigerians developed empathy and they became serious. The average Nigerian is a very funny person. We can catch cruise for Africa. In the sense that something would occur, we'll talk about it a little. Once momentum dies, it don't be, go be, we move.
Yeah.
Nigerians are tough-skinned, resilient. I think every form of stubbornness or resilience in me that I got is thanks to the
God
fact that I
poured
grew
it
up in
inside of
Nigeria.
Nigeria.
Exactly. I think God overdid it. I think Nigerians over-collected at that point. I think the solution would be if we were more serious about Nigerian-related situations. Because tell me, the Epstein files are bad, but tell me why Nigerian is shouting about it. In the sense that you should look, you haven't removed the speck in your eye. Go on, babe.
More like
You haven't
what
removed
it
the
was as
speck in your eye.
So,
And you're trying to remove the
But-
log in other people's
so
eyes.
what do we do?
We become better people.
And change starts from
How
us.
do we become better people?
You start thinking about your neighbor more. You don't think about yourself less. You think about, how do I put it? You don't do less for yourself. You just go a bit of a mile more for the next person.
Consider the other
Yeah,
person.
consider. I always wondered how Boku did it. I'm not a student, but I live really close to Unilag, so I'm starting to understand why people hate school, because I'm starting to understand student life too. I've been thrust into the world. Now I have to buy food stuff for myself. I have to manage the money my parents give me to buy food stuff for myself. So now I have to do calculus. So instead of going to the woman downstairs, I'm going to Boku Mart because it's cheap there. Pepsi is 500 outside. Pepsi is 350 naira inside. 150 was nothing to me, but now that I'm the one spending this money,
You have
I'm
to make
calculating
calculations.
this.
But
Yeah, you have to make a lot of
consider it
calculations.
then.
Now I'm going back to this. Things are cheaper outside there now. But the problem is that the person downstairs, Kokon, it doesn't concern her. It has been 500. It will be 500.
500.
It doesn't matter the whole. She's not thinking about me that wants to buy it. How deep my pockets are. She's thinking about how deep her pockets are. If people start thinking about other people more, the prices of things generally
So
would
it
go
is
down.
safe to say-
Conductors will be nicer. People on Twitter will be less active.
Okay.
Exactly.
Gives you work
So
to
it's,
do.
it's safe to say there should be regulations around a lot of things.
Even if there were regulations,
They
it's
won't stick to
Nigerians.
it. It depends on personal
I think if there if
So
there are regulations, we are being forced
I
to.
do not like
The way it's going to go.
I'm part of you
but
people
it's,
too.
It's okay. Oh, some of us are talking. We're talking like we. There's no Benin Republic.
Yeah,
we're
no, I'm
Nigerian.
Nigerian too.
So, but what I'm trying to say is that from this conversation, the way we are going, we're still having that mindset. I'm expecting that at the end of this conversation, we should go home with a different mindset and begin to,
Yes.
brainstorm on how to really bring real solutions to these real life problems. Do you understand? So I go back to how I said it earlier. We tend to talk a lot. We talk a lot and there are no real solution. And you just mentioned it that one of the major, I think truly and truly is what our major issue is. Beyond the education, so education in this light could be information. That my guy, can you be nice? Something like that and all that. And when you are going your way to do something, you know that if I put, because I know I see that a lot. For example, I'm on the road and somebody is selling. I've had one woman, I had to take pictures of her spot. And I told her I was going to report her. So I was just threatening her because I knew if I report her, nothing will happen. You might just give money and everything will. Except I really want to look for trouble. I really want to go. But it's so annoying that you left your shop and then you brought your business almost to the road.
What are you saying?
Now people
Blocking
are
walkway.
struggling to cross over.
But it doesn't concern you.
It doesn't concern
You just
you.
want to sell.
You just want sell what? What are you
How
selling?
much are you making?
How much? Do you understand?
You
I do
buy
not even
Benz
care how
from
much you are making. But the truth is that if you consider the
Other
person
people
who
that
is going
wants
to
to
walk
pass.
through this road, you will not block it. If you consider that, if I come out to that point, my neighbor might not be seen. Do you understand? That's, I think I'm just using a very simple scenario or an everyday scenario that we see on the road to now talk about the other parts, maybe neighbor in where you live and stuff like that. So my question, I still go down to say, we do not have solution. We're still back here in this conversation saying the problems that I know. You're telling me what I know. I'm also discussing back with you what you know. Yes, as we're talking about it now, we are brainstorming about it. Like, okay, really, this is our problem, really and truly. So sometimes we have it scattered everywhere. We don't really know what it is. Somebody says, my own issue is data. That's a little bit of self-centeredness. So, but that's the issue. Data is a very big issue. This conversation will not end here, but we are not to bring spontaneous solutions in this conversation.
Think it
But
through.
that can also help to begin to re-engineer the way we think about things. I think that's one of the things this conversation is going to be doing for us. It's also doing for me because I'm also seeing things from you guys' perspectives, and stuff like that. And I believe it's giving me another way to think about things. And I like the way Daniel took it. At the end of the day, we are all busy talking about all the physical things that is our basic problem. Do you understand? Somebody's saying, this is what I need, this is what I need, this is what I need. But I think it boils down really and truly to love and empathy. if you love, you have empathy, your compassion, respect for your just simply having that for your fellow human being, that alone will impact the way you think about things. And I think that's really a starting point. But the question is, how do we go about this? How do we go about preaching this? How do we go about re-engineering? That's your question. And that's what I want you guys to go and sit back and begin. So I'm ready to talk about this in the next episode, if you guys are ready for this conversation. But I think it's the assignment. So we want to come back with solutions in the next conversations about whatever it is that you think is the big issue in your heart for this nation. Now, let's shift a little bit, our sight a little bit from just looking at the problem of Nigeria. Now let's begin to think solution.
Yeah.
Let this generation begin to think solution. Move away from where you are so that these conversations will make real meaning and real impactful stuff. Not just those who is going to be hearing us, but we ourselves who are also having that conversation. So I think this is part of your assignment. You go back home, we'll come back in the next episode. I think I really like to dive deep a little bit more on leadership and politics and what you think. Like I said, it's now we're supposed to be having these strategic conversations. I'm not saying you have to contest in 2027. I did not say so. I did not say go and contest or go and join political party or something. But having these real conversations is very important. That can inform your contributions or the way you end up, participating in these things henceforth.
Yeah.
Right. And who knows what your generation is going to end up bathing. We don't know. So you were going to attack my generation for a while. So in your last statement, or rather say in few sentences, how do you want to end this conversation? Remember, we still have a question mark to so many other things that we didn't conclude. So we'll take it out to the next episode.
I think your generation should be open to collaboration.
My generation?
Yeah, should be open to collaboration.
I think it's a very important one.
And not see Gen Zs as an opposition.
Mm-hmm.
We need to have the 40 guys who have done really great things in each industry, partnering with the 20 years old guy, working together as co-innovators, co-founders, and all. The 40 guys need to learn to be open to it.
So are you saying they are not? Have you ever tried any?
They are not.
Just a question.
The backlash on Gen Z, they are disruptors. They don't listen, they just want to do. I think we cannot disrupt without instructions and guidelines.
Cannot disrupt without it instruction and guidance from the older generation.
Yeah.
Let's have it.
Okay. Don't leave us stranded or directionless. If you don't agree with us, provide a solution or a way to take.
Carry your matter on your head.
Clark it.
Yeah, because nobody will do it for you. You should carry it on your head. It should be everywhere with you. Let people know.
Carry your matter
on your head.
Let people know what you are
what
doing.
You do.
Carry your matter on your head. All right. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Hilda. Thank you, Travis. We appreciate your time here on this conversation. And like we said, this conversation continues. It continues. I'm telling you, we're going to continue. This particular conversation continues. Yeah. Maybe not the same set, but we'll merge it with more, so that for more engaging thought flows and stuff like that. But we all had it all. And I'd like to also point out about your disruption area, like without direction and guidance. But I know that you can't raise new standards if you don't have the power to disrupt things.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So know that, and if you think what you are doing and you're doing it correctly, you've done your research and you know what, be fearless enough to disrupt the system.
It's on your head.
Yeah.
Respectfully disrupt the system. That's how change actually comes. So you're waiting for that guidance from the older generation. I don't know, but that's the point you're going to get into. You might never get that guidance and whatever. And you, from what you said, I just understood that that this generation actually seeks. We tend to still keep giving you guys diagnose instead of to give direction. Yeah. So what you seek is no more our diagnose. Don't diagnose our problem. just show us the way.
If you don't want to stick to
If you show that, even that your Eve is not, but it's very glaring from the conversation that what you guys seek is direction and not diagnose. Don't diagnose our problem. Just show us give us the direction, or show us how to get this thing, and trust me, we will get it.
Okay.
But like I said, we're going to further this conversation to get more out of it. So it has been an interesting conversation so far, and we'll have very much, as they said in this conversation, just to broaden further the things that we're unable to touch. So enough of the talking about the problems of Nigeria. We really want to look at how do we get real solutions. So I don't know if you have that solution, then you better engage with us. Or, just get it on our comment section. Drop whatever it takes you need to drop there. And then be ready for the rematch of this conversation on how to go about. But this brings us to the end of this particular conversation. My name is Oge Okoli, and please don't forget to subscribe if you want us to continue this conversation. Thank you.